Junction, Houston, Texas. So excited about it.
Good morning. I'm going to have you guys on my nationwide conference call this morning as well. So we'll get started here in a sec.
I just want to do for your second broadcast here of the Leaders Circle with myself and Mr. Justin Prince. Justin, I also will just take a little bit of time and just say thank you guys for joining us on this incredible journey of Modere, and tell you how proud we are of each and every one of you. We just love to watch people chase their dreams and achieve their dreams. To get started this morning, I can say so much about Justin, and most of you on this call know Justin through all of his messages that you'll see and all of his teaching he's already doing on Facebook and Instagram and everything else. I just want to share with you, being with Justin since the very beginning, we started sitting down and putting this together, the creation of this thing called Modere in July, August of 2012. And I've just watched him, guys. I've just watched him tirelessly to spread the message and support the home office as he goes on, because I think sometimes we forget that he's a partner, he's a builder. He has a huge organization here in Modere, and yet he's an ambassador for the office, where he's kind of our person in between us and the main office, and then he goes around the world spreading the message of Modere. So can't say enough about him. I could introduce him so many different ways, but I'm just going to say this. We have a set of values called being authentic, compassionate, humble, disruptive, and vibrant. Guys, that's Justin Prince. So I want you to get ready. I want you to get your notepads out. You know how I am on that. If you're not recording, you're not anywhere. Just record. I want you to take some great notes from this. And again, when he's finished, I want to see Facebook coming alive. I want you posting takeaways you're going to get from this guy's message today, because it's going to be incredible. So, Justin, if you're ready, man, hashtag Let's Leaders Circle, Mr. Justin Prince.
Bob, thank you so much. What an honor to be on with you. It always is. Appreciate you and Kay this morning. So, Bob and Kay, for those of you that don't know, live in Houston, and our prayers go out to all of our friends and our family and all of our fellow Americans and all of our fellow human beings that are anywhere near the Gulf Coast of Texas, and for the tragedy and also the triumphs that they're seeing. One thing Bob said to me today is, he said, Justin, as tragic as this is, he said, there's power in a storm. And he said, there's a unifying power in a storm. Everyone's kind of coming together and unifying around one another. The power of human beings coming together. And he said they weren't trying to take out their 55-inch screen TVs as they left their homes. They were just trying to take out their babies, and just, life becomes more significant when you really realize what it's all about at the end of the day. So, Bob, love you and respect you a ton, and grateful for you and Kay, and couldn't be more thankful for us and our partnership and the relationship that we have. So, guys, super excited this morning to, oh my goodness, I have so many good notes for you. So really excited. I've been jotting all this down. I've got my Evernote open with my laptop, and I'm ready to light this up with you guys. So I was in the Ozarks recently in Missouri with this amazing group of leaders, and they asked me they said, how do we increase our influence? And how do we, become more influential to build our businesses? And I quoted to them what John C. Maxwell says. He says that leadership is influence. And so therefore, if leadership is influence, then influence is leadership. In other words, they're the same thing. If you increase your leadership, you'll increase your influence. If you grow as a leader, you'll grow as an influencer. So I want to talk to you today about how to become intentional, not on accident, but on purpose and by design. How do you grow as a leader? How do you become intentional in your growth as a leader? And then therefore, how do you become intentional at your growth as an influencer? How do you grow your leadership, therefore grow your influence? So years ago, I had someone come up to me and they said to me, they go, Justin, they said, how did this all happen for you? Like, how did you end up here? And those of you that know my story, I came from a broken home as a 12-year-old boy. We moved 13 times the next 7 years. I was making pizzas and doing mindless construction work for my dad's construction company. And got into, when I was 21, selling animated cartoon Bible movies at the mall. So not exactly like the dream job for anybody, as the guy at the mall kiosk trying to sell animated Bible movies. And then my wife and I, from the day we met to the day we were married, was 3 months. I never thought I'd be that guy, but we were married. And a few months later, she got pregnant. 9 months later, we had this little baby. So here I am, a 23-year-old young man, married, little baby here, and I had to provide. I had a semester and a half of college, so statistically I shouldn't have panned out so hot. But I ended up building a business, made my first $1 million in my 20s, and had made multiple million cents. But the point is, I've been able to travel the world. I've been able to speak with, sit at the boardroom with the table of billionaires and help them to strategize in their businesses. And you say, how did this happen? How did a guy with no education from a broken home with really no professional background, how did this all happen? How have you done hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue? More importantly than that, how is it going to happen for you? How are we going to take you from where you are today to where you want to go? And how can we become intentional about it? And I want to start with just 4 words. I had to quantify it. I remember responding to this person. I said, it was read, listen, surround, apply. So it's like, if I had to take it into 4 words, what are the 4 words? Read, listen, surround, apply. And here's what I want to share with you guys. Read great books. The books that you read will define you. And so I want to share with you some thoughts on books. In the United States, the average American worker reads less than 1 book a year. The top CEOs in our country read 60 books a year. Okay, so the average American worker reads 1 book, less than 1. Top CEOs read 60 or more. That's a 1 to 60 ratio. For every one they read, the top CEOs read 60. So my question to you is this. What do you think the difference is in income? So for the average American worker, if they make $1, so they make $1, what does the top CEOs make? Is it $50 for every one? Is it $100 for every one? What would you guess it would be? The answer is it's 319 to 1. They're 1 to 60 on books, and they're 1 to 319 on income. And I share this with you to say that the books you read will define you. And here's what's so interesting about books is that you can read the book. Someone will spend a year or 10 years or 22 years of their life, as in Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill, spent 22 years writing this book, and you and I can read it in a day, week, month, or a year. We can collapse all that they taught, and we can do it into a book. Quickly, number 2 is listen. I share with people, listen to inspiring information. You want to be pouring into your brain, pouring into your mind. Your brain is a muscle. Literally, you can build physical muscle. You can actually increase your strength and make your muscles grow. Your brain can actually not necessarily grow in size, but it can grow in capacity. The research on the intentional power of your brain is really unbelievable. So here's what I'll share with you guys. If you were to listen to, let's say an audiobook, 1 book an hour, or I'm so sorry, listen to an audiobook an hour a day. An hour a day is a book a week. A book a week is 52 books a year. So you say, how would I ever read 60? An hour a day is 52 a year. I mean, it's unbelievable. I think last year, I read about 82 books last year, and I'm going to share with you some of the strategies of how we did that. Number 3 is surround. Surround yourself with great people. Take the time to surround yourself with great people, inspiring people, people that move you, that make you think bigger. Now, you can do this even through the books. I remember reading Elon Musk biography or Jeff Bezos biography from Amazon. And literally, I thought bigger when I was done with this. They were just so powerful, so insightful. However, what I'll also share with you is this, is going back to that same study, the average American worker attends 0 events a year to improve themselves personally. And the top CEOs in our country attend 6 events a year to improve themselves personally. So here's my question to you. How many events are you currently attending each year to get around, to associate with great people? And what I'll share with you is this. In our company, we have 3 events a year. We have 2 regionals and our social retail conference. So in other words, we have 3 built-in regionals, or 3 built-in events a year. A day that your life will change in building networks, a day that you will go from an amateur to a professional, is when you don't argue with yourself about events. You don't say, am I going or am I not going? You've already made the decision. The decision's already been made. I remember when my wife and I started this business, I sat down with her and the kids, and I was like, hey guys, Dad's going to start this. I'm going to go all out. We're going to go make this thing happen. And I remember saying to him, got my calendar, I'm like, sweetie, we already knew what was going to happen. We're going to be these events. We're going to be here. We're taking our kids to Cancun tomorrow on our company's incentive trip, our escape trip. And I share that with you to simply say, we just knew that this would be the pattern of events. We would live in a pattern of events. We would work our life around a pattern of events. I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in work-life integration. And so you can actually integrate your life and your family and your business and your career all into one thing, and you build your life around these events. And that's what's happened. So number 2 is surround yourself with great people by attending the events. Get around, never make any excuse you can to get around great people. And then number 4 is probably the most important one, which is apply what you learn, okay? Apply what you learn. Here's the thing. Da Vinci said, it's he that doeth the deed that hath the power. If you want the power, you have to do the deed. The power does not come from the thinking or the planning or the reading or the listening or even the surrounding. The power is gained in the doing. The power is gained in the application. There are some things you can only learn by experience, and you want to be the kind of person that applies what you learn, applies what you learn, applies what you learn. You're not a big talker. You're a big doer. The tongue in your mouth does not outwork the tongue in your shoes. You're the kind of person that makes things happen, doesn't talk about it or think about it or strategize about it. You're a doer. You have a bias towards action. You are an applier. Life is not an information process. Life is an application process. Now, recently, a month or 2 ago, I was invited to be a faculty member with Dr. John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell is known as the world's authority on leadership. He's written, 80 plus books and so on. And so myself, actually, Tony and Sarah Zalecki from our community, Michelle Barnes from our community, even Tina Beer, who's new to our community but not new to our profession. We actually were all invited to be part of this faculty team. And John Maxwell has a law that he calls the law of intentionality. So I want to give you guys 6 steps or 6 principles to where you can become more intentional on your leadership. Because I think we all know that we should read the books. I think we all know that we should listen to the inspiring information or surround ourselves with great people and apply what we learn. But how do you become intentional? How do you actually make this on purpose and by design? Because what I'll share with you is this. For things to change for me, I had to change. For things to change for you, you have to change. And the way that you change is you grow, you learn, you develop, you become more emotionally mature, more emotionally stable. You become an influencer and a leader where people look to you. So let's walk through these 6 steps. Number 1, make a commitment to grow personally. Now, I'll share this. Make a commitment to intentionally grow. Make a commitment to intentionally grow. What I'll share with you is this. I know this sounds overly simplistic, but if I asked you right now, what is your intentional personal growth plan right now? What would you say? I think for a lot of us would be like, oh crap, I don't know if I have an intentional, on purpose, by design growth plan. And what you want is an on purpose, by design, intentional growth plan. So number 1 is make a commitment to intentionally grow. Number 2, make your commitment public. Make your commitment public. I want to share with you some insights on this. There is power in public, okay? A shared commitment becomes a strong commitment. A commitment that is not public is worthless. Now, there's 2 levels of integrity. There's almost like a higher level, and then there's the base level. The base level is your public integrity. It's how you act in public. The higher level of integrity, the level that is actually, it's a deeper level, it's your private integrity. It's how you act in private when no one's watching, when the camera's off, Facebook Live is not running. How do you treat your spouse then? How do you talk to your kids then? How do you what kind of leader are you when no one's watching? It's your private integrity, and our goal is to sync. True integrity is when your private and public integrity are one, they're synced. And what I'll share with you is this, is that going public engages your private integrity. So it's one of the reasons that a commitment that's not public is worthless, is because you haven't engaged this public or this private integrity. A number of months ago, I decided to do a men's physique competition. Now, look, I'm a dad with 4 kids. Like, I am like fighting dad bod here. I'm not a bodybuilder by any stretch. I feel like I needed to step up and try to do this. So one of the first things that I wanted to do was I went live on Facebook. I was like, okay, everybody, I'm making a change and I'm going public with this. And it was, I thought it'd be kind of fun for people to watch the journey and hopefully inspiring and so on. Guys, anything that I ever did for anyone else, it did more for me. And I'll share with you why. It's because when I had late nights and I wanted to eat the cookie, the chocolate chip cookie that I could see on the counter, or when I was traveling, I traveled to China and Taiwan and, kind of all over the world, multiple cities there in China, and you're out to eat and you wanted to eat what they're eating and so on. I had made a public commitment and I wanted to honor it in private. I wanted to honor it when no one was watching. And so when I got injured, I remember my trainer said to me, he goes, well, there's always a show, the next show, there's a show like in October. I said, no, dude, I'm doing this show. I said I'm doing this show because I've already made a public commitment. So those public commitments I honored in private, in those private moments. So one of the most important things you can do with your personal development is go public with it. Tell people, here's what I'm going to go do. Stephen Covey says, never make a commitment you can't keep. Now go start making commitments. In other words, don't put yourself out there saying, one day I'm going to go do this. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. Don't be a big talker. But once you make a decision, now never make a commitment you can't keep. Make decisions you can keep. Make commitments you can keep. And then go make it happen, okay? When I joined networking, I'll share this with you guys, particularly brand new in networking, I wanted to quit badly. Like I just remember the fear of failure, the fear of self-doubt. I knew that it was possible for somebody else. I didn't know if it was possible for me. I didn't know what people were going to say about me or if they were going to make fun of me. I was doing one of those one things and I was going to get made fun of. And so the reason I didn't quit networking in those early days, in my private moments, the reason I didn't quit is because I had told enough people, and I mean enough meaning my wife, my mom, my dad, my brother, like I told just barely enough people that public commitment kept my integrity intact in my private moments. So I'm going to encourage you to make commitments about your personal development, to become an intentional leader, and then tell some people, because that will hold you accountable to more people than yourself. Remember, a shared commitment becomes a strong commitment, and a commitment that's not public is worthless. Okay, number 3. Identify areas you want to grow in specifically. Okay, so we're talking about intentionally growing your leadership here. So what are specific areas? Number 3 is identify the areas you want to grow in specifically. Here's what I'm going to share with you. Pick at least 2, but no more than 5. Okay, pick 2 areas you want to grow in, but no more than 5. What we want to do is get really intentional and really dig deep on the 2, and we'll expand later versus picking 10 that we're going to try and grow in right now. Now, here's some good insights. Pick an area of choice and an area of skill. So an area of choice could be things like your attitude, kindness, ambition, motivation, desire. Pick an area of choice. So I want to become more optimistic, have a better attitude, more ambitious. Pick an area of choice, and then pick an area of skill. An area of skill is your speaking skills, your listening skills, your recruiting skills, your ability to use social media to grow your business, your ability to ask questions and listen. I was listening recently to Larry King. Larry King talks about he is the world's master at asking questions. He never asks questions that start with I. He said, I'm never learning when I'm talking. So he became, it's an actual skill to learn how to ask questions. So what I'll share with you is this. Pick 2, no more than 5, and then pick an area of choice and an area of skill. Number 4, invest 1 hour a day into those 2 areas. Okay, so you pick an area of choice and area of skill. Then number 4 is invest 1 hour a day into those 2 areas. I love the word invest. An investment in yourself is always a good investment. Okay, you want to invest into who you are, and more importantly, you want to invest into who you're becoming, into where you're heading. You want to be, when you arrive at that place, you're ready because of the investments you're making today. Jim Rohn's father gave him great advice, said, always do more than you're paid for as an investment in your future. Always do more than you're paid for today as an investment in your future. So what I'll share with you is this. It's what I call plan, do, review. Make a plan, do it, and then review it. Plan, do, review. Okay, so make your plan. Here's what I'm going to be studying. Here's how I'm going to develop in these 2 areas. Do the plan, and then review. How did that go? How did the planning go? How did the doing go? Plan, do, review. Okay? So can I give you guys 3 quick strategies for how you can increase your personal development, get very intentional about it. 2 of them will require you to not really change anything from a wake-up perspective. In other words, you can use the exact same hours you're using now. The 3rd one, I'll give you some strategies of how you can create more time in your life. Number 1 is create personal development patterns. So what you want to do is you want to actually to be intentional about your personal development. Your personal development is about your leadership. Your leadership is about your influence. To become intentional, you want to create personal development patterns. Your patterns and your habits will define who you become. What I mean by that is this, is successful people have successful patterns. Unsuccessful people have unsuccessful patterns. What they do every single day, the patterns they get themselves into, you want to have successful patterns. So let me give you a couple quick ones. Number 1 is listen to something positive the first 20 minutes of your day. So listen to something positive the first 20 minutes of your day. Your mind works on what's called wave cycles. There's EEGs. It's the wave cycles, or the electrical current of your brain. Your wave cycles work at 10.5 wave cycles per second for in the morning, basically in the early stages of the morning. It's when your subconscious mind is the most impressionable. So listen with relaxed belief, believing that it's possible for you. But the first 20 minutes of the day, begin instantly to pour positivity into your mind. What I'll share with you about is this, about the power of this, is you can control the spirit of your day. It's almost like eating healthy to start your day. You are working out to start your day. You build good patterns. You don't cheat later. When you build positivity, you don't turn the news on first thing. You don't turn on negative social media the first thing of the day. The first thing you do is all positive. You control the spirit of your day. Number two, next is this. Get a notebook. I mean, check this out. I have a couple of these, right? I always have a notebook with me, or I'll give you guys another quick little hack that I like to use, is I have Evernote. So my notes I keep on Evernote. Now, they sync from both my computer to my phone, and it's all on Evernote. Evernote is an app you can download for free. They have a paid version. I don't think most of you will ever use the paid version. In other words, you don't need it. The free version is amazing. Evernote is very powerful. When I'm listening to stuff, I'll stop and I'll pause it, and if it's a powerful YouTube, I'll copy and paste it into my Evernote so I can study it later. My mentor said, your goal is not to read, your goal is to study. Your goal is to really learn and digest. So what I'll share with you is this. I'll take it, if I have a book on tape, I'll pause it and I'll play back and listen and get that quote and get the insight and get the perspective that I need. Okay, so number one is create the first 20 minutes of your day and then get a notebook or use Evernote or a combination of both. Number two is use your net time. This is Tony Robbins teaching. Net time stands for NET. NET stands for no extra time. This is the time you were already going to spend. This is the time that you were already going to be brushing your teeth, driving. You've already dropped the kids off. You're driving back home. Change your net time, your no extra time, to be more positive. You can start pouring more into your brain. Become more intentional with your net time. Is a very, very, very powerful tool to get much more positivity coming in, much more personal development, and growing intentionally. Number three is to create more time. So about a year and a half ago, a friend of mine called me and said, I want to have your story featured in a chapter of a book called The Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. And I had never even read The Miracle Morning, the book. And I was like, cool, whatever. It was more I was trying to do it to help him. He's a friend of mine. So he sent me the thing, and they said literally from the moment you wake up, even if it sounds so insignificant, tell us what you do. You brush your teeth, splash some water in your face. Like, what do you do? And so we built this book. It's a chapter of this book on Miracle Morning for Network Marketers. Now, here's the point: is I'd never even read the book, the actual first book, The Miracle Morning. Well, on a flight home from California one time, I had the book. They sent it to me as part of this thing to say thank you. And I opened up the book. I thought, man, I'm hearing him in the chapter in one of the series of this book, and I'm not even having read the actual book yet. I mean, shame on me. So I read the book, and I remember I just felt, I was like, God, I do got to step up. I've got to do this better. Here I am. My patterns are good enough to be in the book, and yet I need my patterns to be better. They need to be more significant. So I started waking up an hour early. Now, for anyone that knows me, I'm not an early person. Like, I'm actually more of a night person. I think better and get going more at night than I do early in the morning. What I'll share with you is this. It gained me 7 extra hours a week. Can you imagine the productivity you can do if you have 7 extra hours a week? And I'll also share this. Your competition has 0 hours extra a week, and you have 7. I mean, come on. You start to build better personal development patterns. I'm going to encourage you, where possible, to wake up a little earlier. I know for myself, if I feel like I'm waking up when I used to wake up, I know it's because my dream's not big enough. I'm just not inspired enough. Like, I'm just not fired up enough about something. Because once I get fired up and get really cranked up, then I can really focus on that extra time. So again, plan, do, review on your personal development. Plan, do, review. Become intentional. Plan it out, do it, and review it. Number 5 is invest 1 hour a week in writing and reflecting on what you're learning. Invest 1 hour a week into writing and reflecting on what you're learning. Here's what I'm going to share with you guys. When you have your journals or your notes, start with jotting versus journaling. In other words, just jot down insights and things that you're learning throughout the day. key quotes, key insights, something that someone taught you, or a lesson that you learned, or something that you're going through, the struggles you're facing, or 5 ways you think you can overcome them. Just start with jotting, before you try and get really, all of a sudden you're journaling for 3 hours a day. This will help you you'll look back at your notes and you'll remember the days because you remember the notes, the jots that you wrote down. Don't trust your future to your memory. You want to take good notes. Bob teaches this better anyway. He says take it from your fingers to the paper. The paper goes from your fingers to the paper. Your paper goes from your head to your heart. You actually internalize it. And remember this, a life worth living is a life worth recording. Your life is worth living, and I'm here to share with you it's worth recording. If you went back through my different notebooks, and Bob, I know that you're the same way. You go back to these different notebooks, you're pulling out all of these nuggets and wisdom and perspectives and insights that you've gotten through your life. So remember, don't trust your future to your memory. A life worth living is a life worth remembering. Now, number 6, share your growth with someone each week. Okay? So share your growth. In other words, share your growth or share what you're learning. Share your growth with someone each week. And what I'm going to share with you guys is this. Study, practice, and teach. Study it in your private moments, in your net time, and so on. Study it. Then practice it, and then teach it. The way that you say to someone, I want to tell you what I'm learning. So I want you guys to hear this. When we teach content, we internalize content. So when we internalize content, we own content. So what I tell people is teach equals internalize, and internalize equals own. The content that when we teach content, we internalize content. When we internalize content, we start to own the content. It becomes ours. We start to really understand it. We're not regurgitating it. We get it. It's ours. It's powerful. Now, I tell people, find places, find avenues to teach what you learn. If I give a speech, for example, I'll give speeches all over the world at this stage, but I'll practice them a lot. My poor kids and my wife hear them a lot, but I'll even practice them on three-way phone calls, or I'll practice them a lot on conference calls, or I'll practice speeches a lot on Facebook Lives. Years and years ago, they had cavemen that would write on caves. They would write they would write the hieroglyphics on the caves. Why? Because they just wanted to know that they were here. They wanted people to know that they mattered, that they were here, that they left something, left a mark. And my question to you is this: what mark are you leaving with your personal development, with this journey that you're on and the person that you're growing into? What mark are you leaving? If you have a book to write it. If you have a song to sing, sing it. If you have a Facebook Live to go live with, go live. If you have a YouTube to post it. If you have a song in your heart that you're learning, that you're growing, that you're expanding, that you're becoming, share it. And the reason for this is your mark. This is what people will remember you by, the stuff that you left. We all we leave a mark that we mattered, that we were somebody, that we lived. We didn't just live and breathe and die, that we were someone. And so I'm going to encourage you to share what you're learning, to find avenues. Use it on Facebook Live. Study, practice, and then teach it on Facebook Live. Go on there and say, here's what I'm learning. This is what's happening to me. This is the perspective, the insight, the wisdom that I'm gaining. And you share it with everybody else. Remember, many people will leave the universe without a trace. We won't even know that they were here, because they just didn't ever leave a mark anywhere and write it down somewhere where someone else from future generations could get it. And this is my great-great-grandfather. These are the notes that he was jotting on April 17th, and this is what happened to him, or this is what happened to her. You want to leave a mark and grow as a leader. So your leadership not only affects you, but it affects everyone around you, and it affects future generations of children that are yet unborn because of the power of what you left, the way that you shared your growth with someone each week. So I love you guys. I respect you so much. Just to review, your goal is to become an intentional leader. Make a commitment to intentionally grow, number 1. Number 2, make your commitment public. Number 3, identify the areas you want to grow in specifically. Number 4, plan 1 hour a day in those 2 areas. Number 5, invest 1 hour a week into writing and reflecting what you're learning. And then number 6, share your growth with someone each week. So Bob, I think you may have come back on with me. Did you want to close out with any final thoughts?
At my age, but that was I have just burned my computer up taking notes myself, and there's so many nuggets in here. I want to really encourage you guys to go back, listen to this talk again, have your notepad, like he's talking about, plan, do, review, perfect stuff. Best time to set your spirit is in the morning, and he's so true on that. That's the way we set our day each day. Study, practice, teach, incredible. Read, listen, surround, apply. There are just so many things in here that every one of you guys can really go back and pull and glean from this, not only just in your business, guys. This is your life. We want to give you stuff that will change your life. So thank you so very much, partner. You did a great job, and God bless all you guys, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Hopefully you felt like I was still here with you, even though we were kind of going back and forth. So love you guys. If you got some value out of this, feel free to share this with your people, and you guys are the best. Talk soon.